It's now been 2 weeks since Hamas launched that terror attack on Israel, with the death toll rising daily as the war intensifies. Israeli troops on Gaza's border have been instructed to prepare for an imminent ground operation, escalating an already dire humanitarian crisis. Bren Carlill from the Zionist Federation of Australia joins us now live. Bren, thanks for your time on Weekend today. This is harrowing for people caught up in Israel and Gaza. What are you hearing from people on the ground?
Well, the last 2 weeks, as you might imagine, for Israelis has been 2 weeks of trauma. After the initial attacks, the stories of survivors have been circulating around the country. The videos taken by the Hamas terrorists of their unspeakable cruelties on people have also been circulating. So there is a determination in Israel that something has to happen to prevent this from happening again, which is unfortunately why the ground operation into Gaza is imminent.
And Bren, we're told that will begin imminently. As an expert in the history of the conflict in the region, what would that look like potentially?
It is going to be terrible. War is terrible. And it will be terrible for Israelis, and it will be terrible for the Gazan civilians in Gaza. Look, for decades, Hamas has been promising what they want to do, which was exactly what happened on October the 7th. And so Israel built a wall of steel around Gaza in order to prevent that happening. But on October 7th, Israel let its guard down, and Hamas went in and did what it had always promised. And so that's why this war has to happen now, because Israel has realized that wall of steel isn't enough to protect Israeli civilians. And the only way that Israel is going to stop this happening again is to remove Hamas from power. Unfortunately, the Hamas war machine is purposely built into the Gazan civilian infrastructure. Hamas stores and fires its rockets from schools, from apartment buildings, and so on. And so Israel will have to move in, and will have to really go from house to house, ending Hamas rule in Gaza.
Is the Israeli army capable of that?
It is capable of that. In all of these military operations, you need achievable goals. And so the Israeli defense minister overnight basically laid out what the achievable goals are, which will be to go in, to remove Hamas from power, and then ultimately to hand it over. Look, Hamas isn't supposed to rule Gaza. It took over Gaza by force in 2007. Sure. And so once they remove Hamas from power, Israel has zero interest in retaining Gaza or staying there.
Bren, there is a watch on the northern border as well, because some Israelis fear the potential of this conflict widening, of course. Are you concerned about the prospect of a conflict further north, up at Lebanon?
I'm very concerned. Hezbollah is armed much more than Hamas. They have hundreds of thousands of rockets and missiles. There is a significant danger. All of the Israeli communities that border Lebanon have been evacuated, including the place where I lived for a couple of years. Interestingly, though, Hezbollah, they haven't evacuated. They've evacuated some villages very close to the border, but they haven't evacuated villages a little bit further away from the border. It indicates to me that Hezbollah is not interested in a full-on campaign against Israel. But obviously, these things can escalate without warning.
It is complex. It is harrowing as well, as we said, for the people of Israel and Gaza. Thanks for your time this morning, Bren Carlill.
Pleasure.